Chris Philp is a Conservative MP who's also a Parliamentary Private Secretary to the Housing Minister, James Brokenshire. He's on the line now. Good evening.
Good evening.
Chris Philp, isn't this deal, regardless of the detail, already dead? We've just heard from the European Research Group, the DUP and Labour, very reluctant, can't see them voting for it. Theresa May's lost her parliamentary majority.
Look, I think all of these people who have come out this evening rather prematurely condemning a deal they haven't read should just think again and take the time and trouble to actually study it when it gets published.
But they would say the shape of this deal has been clear for some months. Yes, there will be details to look at, particularly as far as the Irish backstop's concerned, but the broad thrust of it is quite clear.
Yeah, but the point about the Irish backstop and some of these other points, the remaining 5% that you describe as details, are actually of fundamental importance as to whether the proposal makes sense or not, because this backstop question affects whether we can get stuck in the backstop. If we can get out of the backstop, if it's in our power to do that, then clearly it's not really an issue. So I think the people who have been coming out condemning it so roundly should have bothered to read it, frankly, first.
But that's your view, but the reality is that's what's happened. So the arithmetic simply isn't there now, is it?
Well, I think there is, in politics, there's very often a difference between what people will say to a TV camera at a moment of high drama and what they'll do in a voting lobby when the country's future is at stake, and those are very often two completely different things.
But you know that the Democratic Unionists, on whom the majority rests for this government, have been very clear about their concerns, and you know that the ERG, who are very clear about their opposition, we've heard from several members this evening, are a significant number of people within the Conservative Party. Just those two groups is enough to ensure that this cannot go through Parliament.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, as far as the union is concerned and Northern Ireland is concerned, the Prime Minister has said very consistently that she is a unionist and she will not allow Northern Ireland to be separated from the rest of the United Kingdom. So I'm assuming that the deal she proposes will deliver on that commitment. And as far as the ERG are concerned, they've got some important issues which I completely understand, such as we need to be able to do free trade deals with America and China and some of the world's fastest growing economies. That will give us a benefit after we've left a big benefit after we've left the European Union. And, the Prime Minister has again said repeatedly that our future trading relationship will allow us to do that. And I expect this deal to deliver it.
Well, was it a mistake to allow members of the ERG, senior members like Boris Johnson, to come out and condemn this deal this evening without any real riposte or answer from, if you like, from the government, from ministers? We haven't heard anything.
Well, I think the government are obviously busy with the negotiation and looking at scrutinising the deal. I think Boris was. I love Boris, but I think he was premature to come out and condemn a deal that he hadn't seen yet, particularly when he did so in such kind of colourful language. This is a time for cool heads. The critical national interest is at stake. We need to look at the detail. Unlike the Chequers thing over the summer, where some people came out and condemned it almost immediately without having read it, people need to take the time to read it and reach a balanced view. I'll be doing that. My vote can't be taken for granted either. I want to make sure it does the right thing, so I'm going to read it, scrutinise it, and make my mind up after that.
Will Theresa May still be in Downing Street in a few weeks' time?
Yeah, well, I certainly expect so, because the last thing we need in the middle of a very difficult negotiation like this is to have a leadership contest. Okay. And by the way, the Labour Party's position in this is very clear. They're going to vote against any deal, no matter how good it is, because all they want to do is cause an election which they think they'll benefit from. The Labour Party are putting their party interest ahead of the national interest, and that is unacceptable.
Chris Philp, thank you very much.